conversation here, but it's SEP lock-in season.
Yes.
Medicare is year-round. This is not just an AEP thing, and lock-in season is an awesome opportunity to help beneficiaries and have a big impact. So, Tony, I don't know if do you want to do the relatively
Yeah,
formal honors, as it were?
John has been with us, started with me in August of 2012.
Mhm.
He came into our office actually from a Craigslist ad. Believe it or not, you can recruit from Craigslist. And I'm thankful for John because he also brought a friend with himself. He brought Mark Dennis with him, so I got 2 for 1 off of that ad. And John came in to be our to run our call center, and he said something that was about our call center. He's like, just because you got to put your phones, you got a room with a bunch of phones on it doesn't make it a call center. I didn't know what a Dropbox was. When he asked me about a Dropbox, I'm like, yeah, we got that FedEx thing outside. We drop it in. We were downloading recordings off this little recorder that was attached to the phone or little CDs and shipping them out. But that relationship has grown. We've become, great friends, great business partners, become an integrity partner, actually, which has been great. And John is going to be featured. I don't know if you guys are going to Medicarians. We talk about it a lot, but John is going to be one of the guest speakers, VIP speakers at Medicarians, talking about Live More and how AI is transforming the world of Medicare. So we're really excited about watching John in action live in Las Vegas, April 20th through the 22nd. Looking forward to that, John. John Gourdin. Let's give it up. John Gourdin. You there, John?
I'm here. Good morning. Good morning. You hear me okay?
Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. Get it, John. Put it on, John. Love that song.
All right. All right.
Put it on him.
Before I get started, was I the only one that didn't know what a blue blood was? I had to Google it.
Hey, Blue Bloods, John. You watch
Throwing up gang
basketball
signs
at
over here.
all?
Huh?
Blue Bloods. Those are like in basketball, the Bloods, or football. The schools have been around forever that win, like Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke. Those are called blue blood programs.
Well, see, your definition doesn't match Google's. So
Oh, okay. Well, Google ain't always right, by the way.
I'm like, blue blood
What did Google say?
said aristocrats.
Nah. It
No?
goes back to Europe? Nah, no. Blue Bloods are supposed to be like basketball teams that have been around forever. UCLA,
Blue
Kentucky,
chip?
North Carolina. Blue Bloods. Come on. Am I the only one that's ever heard that?
Yep.
Come on,
I
we just
heard Blue
wrapped
Blood
up March
is a
Madness,
show.
the big games tonight, the championship games tonight. Everybody knows what a blue blood is.
I
Somebody,
thought they were
some,
cops.
no, blue bloods are people that have been competitive, been around
Blue chip?
for a long time.
Blue
Blue
chip?
bloods, come on.
I thought blue blood represented old money.
Yep. That's the
Yeah.
blue bloods. Yep.
That's
All
the
right.
blue blood I
All
Good
right.
one.
know.
In basketball and football and NCAA, a blue blood means a program has been successful over many, 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 many years. Okay. That's a blue
Got
blood.
it. Got
Get
it.
it? All right.
All right. Cool.
Little education this morning on
Where?
NCAA
A lot.
sports.
A lot. So
Big game tonight. Big game tonight.
it'll be a
Michigan
big one. Big one.
versus UConn.
So, Mike, the video that you shared this morning with Gitmer, it actually is a nice segue into this presentation because he talked a lot about relationships and things along those lines, and I'm going to talk a lot about that as well. As you know, we are now segueing, or we are in lock-in. So from April through the beginning of October is lock-in. What does that mean? Basically, there's 3 seasons. There's AEP, there's OEP, and then there's SEP or lock-in. During this time period, a lot of people are under the impression that, hey, if I work in the Medicare world, this is my vacation season. I work for 6 months and I take off for 6 months. Far from correct. This is a relationship business. It's very, very important that we continue working our business. And I want to talk about the top 10 things that an agent should be doing that's working in this industry during this time of year. First thing, and I'm gonna roll through it because we are already halfway through the meeting. First thing is you want to strengthen your client relationship. Okay, a lot of people are under the impression that when you make a sale in Medicare that now you're finished. It's the opposite. When you make the sale, you just began. You just started a new relationship. I made this analogy recently that we are like the doctors of Medicare insurance. Okay. And if you've changed the customer's medical insurance, you just performed major surgery on them. You just did a hip replacement, a knee replacement. Okay. So you don't discharge that customer or that patient from your hospital and never call them or talk to them again. You've got to check back in with them. And now they've got to go through rehab. There's things that they have to do after the fact. So you want to strengthen that relationship. You want to reach out to them. You don't want to wait for them to call you. You want to reach out to them proactively and check in. Hey, how are things going? Did you get your welcome packet? Have you updated your providers with your new insurance? Does your pharmacy know have your new insurance information? Something also that's very, very important. There's a reason that customer purchased that plan. There's some benefit or a series of benefits that were involved in that plan that they were excited about. If you want them to keep the plan, you got to get them using the plan. So it's very important that you reach out to them, make sure, hey, look, if they were excited about dental, they're excited about the over-the-counter benefit or transportation, make sure they know how to use it. Okay, otherwise it's just another benefit that they have that's on the shelf. Okay, you have a lot of folks that buy, the flagship cell phones, and all they do is make phone calls with it, maybe send some text messages. Well, you're not getting the benefit out of that phone that you have if you're not using those benefits. Okay, so you want to check in with them, make sure that they're using the plan, and then also get feedback from them. Hey, how's it going? You wanted to get your implants. You wanted to have some dental work done. You were having trouble getting to and from the doctors. Have you used your benefit yet? Okay, how did that go? All right. A lot of folks are not staying in contact with their customers, and you're finding out that you lost your customer when you get a chargeback on your commission statement. That's not the way to run your business. Okay. Also, stay on top of mind before AEP. Okay, we know that during the course of the year, especially AEP, OEP, our customers' phones are blowing up. It gets a little quiet now. This is the opportunity for us to build that momentum and get our name in front of them. Okay? Because, again, Medicare is not a set it and forget it product. Okay, there is going to be maintenance required to keep your clients on the book. Plans will change. Medicare changes every single year. The circumstances around our customers change every year. We've got to stay on top of that and make sure we're in front of them. So if there's a change in their life, we can be the agent of change for them. Okay? Next thing, cross-sell opportunities. This is critical. Okay, the more products you have with your customer, the stickier you become to them. What I mean by sticky is like the more likely they are to stay with you. Okay, if you're just their HealthSpring agent, Aetna agent, Humana agent, okay, if something goes wrong with that particular coverage, when they want to get rid of that coverage, in their mind, they're getting rid of you too. You want to make sure they understand that you represent them. You're a broker, okay? And along with Medicare Advantage, you also offer Medicare supplements, Medicare Part D. Yeah, offer life insurance, hospital indemnity, dental, vision, hearing, cancer, critical illness. I mean, there's all kinds of additional products specifically beneficial to your client base. But if you don't tell them about it, they don't know about it. And when they have the need for those products, they go find somebody else. Why not proactively say, hey, I know a lot about your situation. That's why doing a comprehensive fact find is so important at the beginning of your relationship with that customer. Okay, if I'm just meeting somebody and I ask them about who they have their life insurance coverage with or who they have their hospital indemnity coverage with, that's got nothing to do with their Medicare Advantage plans directly, but it's information that I can circle back to later on. It's intel that I can use to try to help maximize my value to that customer, which is also going to help me retain them. If they purchase more products from me and they get more services from me, then it expands my value because I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm not just the agent that sold them this one product. I'm the person they come to help manage their health insurance and their insurance needs. Make sense? Next, build a referral engine. Okay. So a part of that follow-up process, again, obviously, the first bullet here is ask every satisfied client for a referral. So obviously you have to ask them, hey, how are things going? Are you happy with your coverage? Okay. that person's happy with their coverage, then you want to talk to them. Hey, well, if you're happy with that, I did a good job. I want to build that pipeline. I want more satisfied customers. And when you get satisfied customers, you want to use testimonials from those customers. Now, you may not want to put it out there with their name and everything. They may not be willing to do that. But even, a quote from the customer. Um, if you have a website, getting a Google review. I mean, anywhere you can go to get that information, get testimonials from customers. I use Google as an example, but there's all kinds of places that you can, have a static location where people can go and look you up. If folks are going to go online and look you up, you want to control the narrative. You want to put content out there that's going to shed a positive light on you, not the negative, because negative travels much faster. If someone's unhappy, they're much more likely to go online and bash you. Someone's happy, they enjoy that moment, and then they go on with their lives. You want to capture those moments and make them visible to other people. Create referral systems, okay? By referral systems is, hey, if I have a customer that wants to send someone to me, make it easy for them to do it. They're more likely to do it if they have hey, look, if you know someone that needs some help, boom, this is what you do. Give them specific instructions. And I'm going to give you some examples of other things that you can do as well right now. So the satisfied customers, if you talk to a customer, hey, how did everything work out? Everything worked out great. Okay. Who are the two to three people that I could help the same way I helped you? Okay. So now, birds of a feather flock together. If you're talking to a customer that's of a certain income and age demographic, there's a very good chance that they know other people in that same boat. This is your opportunity to get in front of those people as well. Just asking. That's the most direct and simple way. Now, there are rules around referrals as it relates specifically to Medicare Advantage. But if you're just doing a general comprehensive conversation, hey, this is how Medicare works. This is who I am. This is what I do. And the conversation goes to Medicare Advantage, that's where the scope of appointment and so forth come in. But you're allowed to meet people. You're a business owner. You can ask for referrals. You just want to have a way for people to get to you. And I'll talk about that in a moment. The next thing is news you can use sessions. When I say sessions, I mean anything, like there are constantly things that are coming up in the world of Medicare. That's what makes our opportunity so profound, because it's confusing. Things are changing all the time. And if we're in this industry and it's confusing to us at times, imagine what it's like for a senior. So providing updates to them on a periodic basis, whether it's in-person sessions, whether it's a newsletter, text blast, whatever. Some examples. We got bulletins from carriers specifically. Like HealthSpring sent an email out about a CMS error in terms of folks' Medicare status being reported erroneously, and as a result, they're being kicked off of their Medicare plans. Okay, there was instructions on what to do. Hey, look, we know that not everyone's going to be impacted. I think there's like 54 million seniors on Medicare Advantage plans right now. This was impacting like 1.3%. So not even 10% of Medicare beneficiaries are being impacted by this, but it's important to the ones that are being impacted. And if they're not hearing from their agent that, hey, this is a possibility and it happens to them, there's confusion. So it gives you an opportunity and an excuse to get in front of them and say, hey, this is something that's going on. Okay. Not sure, you most likely won't be impacted, but if it does happen, this is what you need to do. Same thing with WellCare. WellCare in Illinois, I think specifically, there was a message about people's Medicaid eligibility and being on specific Medicare Advantage plans for dual eligibles. And some people were enrolled and weren't eligible for that. Again, you want to make sure you stay in front of your customers. Medicaid recertification, making sure customers understand that, hey, look, you may get letters from your state Medicaid. Okay, if you don't recertify and validate that you're eligible for Medicaid, you could lose that benefit. And as a result, you are maybe on the wrong Medicare Advantage plan, and you might see a significant increase in your medical costs. Okay, be conscious of it. Be aware of that. If you have a problem, contact me. Okay. If you're doing any type of web sessions, you want to keep it short. These folks are not. This is what we do for a living. They retire. They're mostly retired for a living. So spending an hour or two in a Medicare session is not what they're looking for. They just want to know, hey, what's going on? Boom, do a quick web session. You can record a message that you can send out to your customers. Just be conscious, following the CMS rules. You keep it general. You don't want to go into talking about specific Medicare Advantage plans. You don't want to talk about specific customers, but in general terms, hey, this is what's going on. Like the same kind of thing that you would receive in an email from a carrier that's telling you about these things. It's at that same level. They're not going to talk about specific customers or plans or whatever. They're saying in general, this is what's going on. If you're impacted, this is your call to action. This is what you should do. And make sure you're included in that. Or if you know anyone else that has this problem, now that expands it beyond just them, and it's an opportunity for a referral. If one of your customers knows is impacted, now you're saying to them, hey, this happens to you, boom, let me know. Referral link with content. I talked about doing a brief web meeting. Well, you can reuse content. So what if you have a web page that you can get a link for, and then you can provide that to your customers? Hey, boom, I educate my customer on what's going on. Hey, if you know anyone else that might benefit from this information, share my link with them. Send this to them and have them take a look. Why? Because on that page, you can have all your contact information. So now it's not them saying, hey, call my agent. They're saying, hey, here's some important information. People share content all the time, especially if you make it entertaining. If you're on social media, I mean, think about memes. There were some people that never even talk to each other. All they do is send memes back and forth. Okay. So if you have content that you can share with your customer, they see value in it and they think, oh, you know what? My neighbor across the street might see benefit in this. Boom, share it. Now your content is out there. Your link is out there. Your customers can actually share your contact information with the friends and family because it's being packaged with content. Make sense? Questions so far?
Hey, John, on that
Yes.
last referral link with contact, what would you touch again on reuse your recordings? So on our recordings with a client, we can use segments of
No. Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. When I'm saying recording, I'm saying when I was talking about the news you can use session, I'm talking about like setting up like a quick web meeting where you're saying, hey guys, this is what's going on in the world of Medicare right now. A general, not your consultation with your customer. You don't want to share that publicly.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Great question. Great question. Okay. But yeah, reusing that content. So if not only is because you might have only two people that show up to one of your web sessions. Bam. It's a great opportunity. You have an audience, you have somebody you're talking to, but now you have a recording. That's marketing collateral. That's marketing content that you can reuse. You don't have to show that there's only two people in that meeting. It's set up as a webinar. Nobody will know how many people were in the meeting. All right. So it's very important that you utilize that content so you can use it again and again. Okay. Great question. Next thing, expand. Excuse me, allergies catching up. Expand your lead pipeline. Okay, educational workshops, just like I talked about, the news you can use. And it can be in person, it could be online. Okay, if you're doing a lot on social media, which is something I need to work on myself. I need to do more social media, but having educational workshops because there's always something new coming up. I use ChatGPT, and I basically just told ChatGPT every month send me an update of news that's relevant to the senior community. Give me the top 10 things that are going on that are important to seniors every month. And I get an alert from ChatGPT every month saying, boom, these are the things that are going on. So now you can take that information, it's giving you the ideas. You can even have ChatGPT create a PowerPoint presentation for you. And now you just sit down and you record the content. As long as you have a place to post it, you have your own landing page, you have a social media channel, you're putting that information out there. So now you're taking that educational workshop that you did, you're turning it into digital marketing. Okay. The community outreach aspect of it is, okay, I want to get out there and let people know that this content exists. A lot of people think there's like this field of dreams perspective of, hey, if I put up a website, people are just going to show up. No, you gotta make sure people know about it. That's where you reach out to the community. Maybe you have business cards, you have QR codes that you can actually share with people, or to have people share amongst each other so that they can get access to the information that you're sharing. The value you're conveying value, and that value brings you people. Okay, but it's staying busy. Okay, you want to diversify your lead flow. Yes, purchasing leads is great, but the best new client typically comes from an old client. So referrals and people that you know are a great source for new customers. Okay. Improve follow-up systems. Okay. There's always an opportunity to get better at this. Okay. You want to find ways to communicate with your customers on a consistent basis. Whether it's email, we talked about email. Email it's kind of a dying breed in a sense. It still has its value, but email typically works best when it's coming from people that already are expecting it. Okay, that person knows you and they're expecting to get an email from you. Text campaigns are great as well, but you have to make sure you have permission. Okay, you want to have an opt-in strategy so that you can get permission from that customer to send them text messages, and you want to be able to demonstrate that you also got that permission. Now, using a landing page, for example, where the landing page has a customer fill out their contact information with a little checkbox saying that they're giving consent to you sending electronic communications to them. That's all you need. Now you have their permission. You can say, hey, if there's ever a question, hey, you filled out this form, you check this box saying that you're giving me permission to contact this person, to send communications to me. Okay. CRM task management. Okay, this is another thing. You're not going to remember everybody. Every customer you talk to should be like a patient. If I talk to a customer today, I want to document what we talked about today. And then there should also always be a next step. So, okay, we talked today about your Medicare benefits. Everything's good to go. Next time we will talk is, let's say, October 1st. Okay, the new Medicare plans will come out. All the changes for Medicare for the new year will be out. That way I can sit down with you and make sure that you have a good understanding of what's going on. Every time you have a conversation with one of your clients, there should be an understanding that there's going to be a subsequent conversation. This isn't the end of the relationship, it's the beginning. Having a task management system allows you to keep that in order. Hey, these are all the people that I need to follow up with. If you have appointments with customers months in advance, you want to have a task that say, hey, I need to send reminders to this customer. I need to check and see if that date still works. Or it's something that you can delegate to a virtual assistant. Hey, you know what? Here are all my clients. These are when their appointments are scheduled in the future. I need you to follow up with them and confirm that these dates are still good. If the dates change, reach out to my customer and reschedule that appointment. Okay, you're the talent. If you have a virtual assistant, their job is to keep you in front of people. Using a system that allows you to communicate with your assistant that these are the things that need to happen is going to be essential. Drip campaigns. In between those appointments and conversations, you want to make sure that your name is staying in front of your customers. There's got to be content. That's why I talked about using Chat GPT to get hey, top 10 things seniors need to know about this month. And then now, hey, there's a way to convey that. Maybe I can send a text message, an email. And you want it to be ongoing. All right. Questions so far? All right. I'm halfway through my list. Okay. Master product knowledge. Okay. It's very important that folks stay up on plan changes. Okay. So going forward, I say going forward, it's always been this way. It amazes me how every year everyone freaks out. Oh, everything's changed. This, that. It happens every year. There's not been a year that I've been in the Medicare business, 15, 16 years now. There's not been a single year where there hasn't been some kind of change. It's like I'm numb to it anymore. I'm never surprised anymore. It's like, okay, all right, this is what we're doing different. Okay, this is what's going to be the next obstacle, opportunity, however you want to look at it. Something is going to change. If you're going in with the expectation that you're going to just throw a bunch of clients on the books and not have to touch them, your plan is going to stay perfect forever. You're living a pipe dream. Okay, you've got to stay up to date on that kind of information, and you want to make sure that if your customers come to you, you're aware about it. Okay, around July, August timeframe. That's when the new certifications come out, AHIP certifications for the carriers. Okay, they're gonna give some previews. Unlike unless it was like the last couple of years where some of the carriers are very, very late in communicating their benefits. But you want to know how things are changing, and the better you document your clients and knowing what they like. For example, if I put a customer on a plan because that plan has a $5,000 dental benefit, and now this year we find out that, oh, that dental benefit's being cut down to 2,000. I want to reach out to my client and say, hey, you okay? Now, hopefully, after a year, they don't still need another $5,000 worth of dental work done, and it's a mute point. But you don't know until you know. Okay, prepare for new benefits. One of the things that we saw in the what the heck was it? Final rule for 2027. One of the things they talked about are like the OTC benefits. So a couple key bullet points. We already talked about the donut hole closing, and we already have known that was coming. The out-of-pocket maximum going up by like $100, going from $2,000 to $2,100 for Part D. These are things that we know are going to have an impact on the plans. There's also going to be an emphasis on the over-the-counter benefits. Effectively what it boils down to is carriers want to know that that money that's being spent is relating to a health benefit. This is health insurance. It's not intended to be free money. And it's a lot of money. I just did some quick and dirty math. There are, what is it? Somewhere in like 54,000, 54 million, I'm sorry, 54 million seniors on Medicare. Of that total, I'm messing the math up now. Ultimately, the net was about 27 million seniors have Medicare Advantage plans with an over-the-counter benefit attached to it. And that over-the-counter benefit, depending upon the carrier, ranges, on average around $35 a month in over-the-counter benefit. Which means with that many seniors on a monthly basis getting around $30, $35 in benefit, that's about $810 million a quarter in over-the-counter benefits. $800 million a quarter. So CMS is saying, hey, look, if we're giving out this money like this, we want to make sure that it's attached to some health benefit, not just being free money. So what does that change? Does that mean that those benefits aren't going to be around? No, but it does mean that the way that they're going to be delivered and managed going forward will change a little bit. You want to be well versed in that. You want to make sure your customers know, hey, look, this is how you navigate that new environment. Okay. Next thing, segment your book of business. We talked about doing a good fact find. Well, if you do a good fact find, you should know, okay, I have 500 clients. How many of my clients have life insurance? How many of my clients have money sitting in an annuity or retirement account in a bank? How many of my clients are on a Medicare Advantage plan and are exposed to out-of-pocket costs for hospitalization, outpatient care, ambulatory care? You've got to know those segments. And then also target high-value clients. What's a high-value client? It's a client that is, from my perspective, someone that brings you business. Those customers that are well-connected, that are in front of a lot of people, that can send you a lot more people. It's not just a customer that will buy from you. It's not just that customer that you can sell a big annuity to. Boom, yeah, that's great. You make that one sale. But a customer that on an ongoing basis is going to keep bringing more and more people to you. That person with a center of influence, that now if you can get them on your side and they're sending people to you, now you have a referral flow that's taking care of itself. Okay. Prioritize retention. Again, you want to make sure that you're circling back to every client you sell any product. Okay, that separates you from the pack, because the vast majority of agents, I wish I could quantify it, but how do you quantify what someone's not doing? But the vast majority of agents are not circling back to their clients. They're not checking in with their customers. That's why we see switching all the time. Because most of those clients, now granted, there's some clients that no matter, you could deliver, knock your socks off the service to them, and they're still going to switch. They see a new shiny object and they're going to go. Okay, but that's the minority. You're not going to save everybody, but what you have control over is what you do. And if you prioritize retention, it is going to help your business grow, because your business growth is not just based upon what you get, it's based upon what you keep. That's the most important part. I would rather write a lower volume, solid book of business versus a high volume and have more and more of those customers. 50% of my people fall off the books. If I write 50 apps and only 10 stay, I'd rather write 20 and keep 15. Less effort, better result. That's the way you have to think. Retention is key. Next, strengthen your personal brand. And some of these kind of bleed over in the multiple categories. I talked about social media presence, putting content out there in social media, starting a social media group, becoming a part of a social media community, your local gym, your church, anywhere. Everyone has social media, presence. There's things that you can do to contribute to those arenas and also draw people into your social media. Okay. Educational content, I already talked about that as well. And it doesn't have to just be Medicare stuff. It could be other things that are related to seniors, fun things to do, especially if you're in a field and you live in a specific community. Most of my team members sell all over the country. So their community base is all over the place. So we have to have more general content that applies to everybody. But if you're specifically in a market and there's a new senior center or there's a new park or there's a new restaurant, content that's non-threatening, then it's like, oh, okay, you don't want you don't want every message you send out to your customers to being used trying to sell them something. Okay, after a while they become numb to you. But if it's, hey, look, this is some things that you need to know. Here's some fun things that apply to you. That's where you're going to get more attention. Okay, local authority positioning. Again, understanding your market beyond just the products, state pharmaceutical assistance plans, Medicaid as it relates specifically to their market, local hospitals entering, leaving networks. And that's something else they talked about in the final rule for 2027, is that there's a proposal that if a customer's provider leaves a carrier's network, that there be a special election so that they can choose a new plan. I don't know if there's a final decision on that, but I know that's been proposed. Well, you need to know the market. You need to know, hey, look, if this network leaves, then all these doctors, all these patients that have these doctors are impacted. That's where having that data in your CRM helps as well. Okay, almost there. Build strategic partnerships. So financial advisors with your carriers, senior centers, community groups. Again, people that have a center of influence. You want to make sure that they're aware of who you are and how you can help the people that they know. Okay. Last step, prepare for AEP. So pre-book your appointments. I talked about that already. Okay. Don't take for granted that someone else isn't going to swoop in there and be a hero. Someone else comes in, because think how you got your customer. If you didn't get your customer when they were just turning 65, that means they belonged to someone else at some point in time. And the way you were able to get them was because you were able to provide a value to them that the person they were already working with had not provided. You don't want to make the same mistake. So you want to make sure you're providing value to your core clients. And pre-booking appointments is a part of that. You're letting them know in advance, hey, look, things are going to change. You're going to need to talk to someone about your situation as it relates to Medicare. And I want to make sure that we have set aside the time. I'm making myself available to you to make sure you're getting the personalized attention that you're going to need. Okay, have your marketing campaigns ready for AEP. Okay, hey, this is what I'm going to do to reach out to my existing customers. Also, the people that you've spoken to and built a rapport with that may not have purchased from you yet, but you have a good enough rapport with them that they will let you, they'll talk to you. Those are important. A lot of people think every year AEP, OEP comes around and I got to go out and buy a whole new book of leads. If you've been doing this 2 to 5 years and you're still relying on leads, that means that you're not cultivating the opportunities you've had in the past. Okay. You should be cultivating those opportunities. You should be staying in front of those people and saying, hey, We spoke last year. Boom, you're on such and such a plan that's worked out well for you. Things are changing. If you'd like, I'd like to sit down with you. Even if they never bought from you, the fact that you have a good rapport, okay, and you want to script and process and refine your process, okay. For AEP as an example, okay, a lot of times people are like, hey, what kind of lead are you using? Because they see agents that October 15th, that first week, they see people put up 50, 100 apps in a week. And they're like, good Lord, what kind of leads are they using? That didn't happen overnight. If you're seeing people with those kind of numbers, there's a high likelihood that that person has cultivated a relationship and they've already set up a process. They've scripted a process for themselves. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do an outreach to my clients in September, August, September, letting them know that, hey, AEP's coming. There's some changes that you need to know about. Maybe they're doing webinars and sessions in general, letting people know about the general updates. Then they're scheduling one-on-one appointments with their customers after October 1st, because you can't talk about the new plan year until after October 1st. Right now, I'm sitting down, I'm talking to my customer, finding out what's changed in their life, seeing if, okay, are they in the right plan or do they need to make a change? If they're in the right plan, good. I let them know, hey, look, if anyone contacts you, let them know. We've already gone through this. I've already talked to my client, my agent. I'm good. The folks that need to change, you're pre-scheduling appointments for October 15th. So now you have a process that keeps you busy and makes sure that you're doing the best job in servicing your client base. Okay. Last thing, in conclusion, okay, when AAP starts, before it starts. Okay. Well, what do I mean by that? AAP is October 15th. That's when you can officially ink the first application. AAP begins way before that. Okay. A winning strategy is now building that book of business now. During lock-in, the customers you talk to that are unhappy with what they have are your AEP clients in October. You've got to talk to more people to build that pipeline. Okay. That's how you win in this business. You don't wait until AEP to start your AEP business. It's a year-round thing. Cross sell. Obviously, you want to make a living. You want to strengthen your relationship with your clients and offer more value to your clients. Cross selling is where you accomplish that. You build a pipeline. The folks that you didn't sell are still viable opportunities as long as you're not that pushy salesperson that says, oh, you didn't buy, throw the lead in the trash. No, that's a person. Hey, Ms. Jones, I want to congratulate you. You did a phenomenal job in selecting the plan that you're on. I don't see any changes in that plan. In fact, the company you're with is one of the companies I represent as well. Now, the way to cross-selling, circling back, no plan is perfect though. There are some gaps in your coverage. Boom, now you go back and you let them know, hey, look, this is how we can take your plan to the next level. Okay. That person says no to that, not a problem. Hey, look, you know what? Your benefits are going to change. One of three things or all three things are going to change come October. Medicare, I can guarantee you, is going to change. Your circumstance, your plan most likely will change. The plan you're on right now most likely will not look exactly the same next year. You need to know how that's changing. And the third thing is their circumstances. Hey, your circumstances may change. You may move. You may have a diagnosis of a condition. You may have recovery. You might, your health may improve. Your income may go up. Your income may go down. Someone you may get married. You may get there's all kinds of things that change. So you want to make sure, hey, look, boom, I want to be there. I want to be your agent of change. When things change, and I guarantee you they will, you're going to need someone that you can talk to that can help you navigate these situations. Okay. Strengthen relationships with the people that you already know. Hey, beyond the business stuff, postcards for happy birthday, holidays, those are things that kind of let that person know that there's a real connection. Okay. And in systemized success, you want to have a process that you do over and over on a repeated basis. Hey, I know that every time I enroll a customer, I want to do 3 touches with them within the first 90 days. I want to make sure that every customer I talk to, that I document what we talk about every time we talk and what we're going to talk about in our next conversation. I want to document on every customer why they purchased the product they purchased. Because same reason they made the purchase is the same way that you're going to defend that purchase later on. Okay? And that's it. That's my spiel. Questions, thoughts, concerns?
Great stuff, John. Great stuff, my friend. That was awesome. That was well worth it, John. Thank you so much for putting that together for us. That was awesome.
No
We do have some
worries.
questions in there, Michael. You want to get those knocked out for us? Because I want to make sure no one leaves here because I know some of these questions others may have. Go ahead.
I do
Hi.
see there's a question. Sorry, I'm like leaning into my computer trying to read the screen here. Can you touch base, John, on the SEP for duals and the LIS market, how that works now that we're not in OEP?
Well, that's a whole presentation. I mean, then we had a whole session on that last Monday.
It's all right. Yeah, keep it brief, John. How would you explain that to whoever asked that? It looks like that was Carrie Brandy, actually.
Okay. So ultimately what it boils down to is someone is a full dual, full benefit, dual eligible, Slim B plus, QMB plus. Those are folks that, depending upon the market, there may be FIDE plans or there may be HIDE plans. Depending upon their market, there's an opportunity every month for those customers to enroll, to switch plans. Okay. So these are much more high touch customers. You want to make sure that for enrollment purposes, when you enroll a customer that's like a full dual, the thing that you have to remember is that from a medical standpoint, all their medical costs are covered. Okay, that's not going to be a differentiator from one plan to the next. What's going to be a differentiator is those additional benefits. And those additional benefits, if they are not using them, then someone else is going to come and say, hey, I got this special benefit over here, and they're going to go over there. So they have to feel like they're losing something if they leave. If that customer signed up with you because they got unlimited transportation, you want to get on the phone with them and make sure that they know, hey, when you need transportation, this is the number you call. You want them to use that benefit. Now, if someone else tries to switch them, they're losing that benefit. So, I mean, that's in general terms. I'm trying to boil down an hour-long presentation into like a 2-minute answer.
Thank you, John.
Mhm.
Great
I
stuff.
would advise going back to check out last Monday's recording as I start off each meeting with mentioning that.
Michael, can you go ahead and chat that to Carrie so she has that and anyone else? Because that is a great question. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie, for that question. What else do we have, Michael?
I got to pull up that recording.
Somebody said, what's point number 8? Alicia Cameron. What's point number 8? Strengthening brand,
Your personal brand.
your personal brand. Got it.
Yep.
You know, that shocks
Thank
me
you.
how many insurance brokers and agents don't do that at all. It shocks me that 99% don't do it. Y'all have heard my presentation about the branding. I've been doing that for years now. It shocks me. It's almost like having your own plumbing business and your own restaurant, a laundromat, a dry cleaner. Name any business in your town and you don't advertise. No one knows who you are. How successful is that laundromat, that dry cleaner, that restaurant, that plumbing business, electrical business, home cleaning? How successful is it going to be? How successful going to be? It's amazing that I've been doing this for 32 years, and it always boggled my mind how many agents, even going back when I started in '94, didn't do advertisement. They relied on the company. They relied on their upline. They don't do it. You're the brand. What's the most important thing you got to sell in sales? Come on,
You.
people. You have to make that initiative. People don't buy the company. They don't buy your upline. They don't buy the product. They don't buy Humana, Aetna, whoever, United, Cigna. They don't buy all that. They don't buy features. They don't buy the latest new shiny penny. A lot of weak people in the industry think all that. They think that's why people buy. Temporarily, they may buy, but long term, no, they buy you. They buy you and the experience you provide, which must include one, education, which John just went over, and also you got to entertain. These people have to have fun, enjoying the experience with you. And you have to do branding. You got to do things exciting, like what Dave Lewis does in Delaware. He does this senior feud thing and puts it out everywhere that these seniors can't wait to go to the next senior feud. It's like Family Feud, for seniors. They call it Senior Feud, you know, and it's fun, it's exciting, but you got to be putting it out there. You should be in every single bulletin in your local newspapers, every single one in the churches. Everybody in your zip code should know your name, like Tracy Lane. You got to know your name. You know, you have to be branding, even if people say, "Well, I'm just an agent. I'm just an agent." No, you're not. You know, you're running a multi-million-dollar business. You're a seven-figure social worker. The world needs to know you, and it needs to start in your own backyard. Hope that helped. What else we got, Michael? Be branding. What else we have, Michael?
There's a bunch here. How do you contact all your clients if you have a large book of business? Hundreds of clients. Takes a while. What do you do?
So, and you know,
Go ahead, John. Answer that question.
yeah,
I'm always going to put it on him. You can do it. Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead,
no,
John.
but my response there was one strategy is make sure that you get consent to contact. Okay, to text message. So as long as you have their permission, now you can put together content that you can share with them by text message. A web link, like you can record a video and put it on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever you want to host that video, and you can text them a link to that video. So now you can talk to your customers in bulk. You can also have on a landing page, you know, a link to a scheduling tool, you know, Calendly, Acuity Scheduling. You can have a link where say, hey, if you have a question, you want to schedule an appointment with me, boom, it can connect with your calendar and they can schedule appointments with you one-on-one. Virtual assistant is another opportunity.
Yes.
You know, reaching out, virtual assistant can reach out to your customers on your behalf. They can field the inbound calls. They can schedule the appointments. Okay. They're not going to be you, but they're a surrogate. Again, using my analogy of being the doctor of Medicare insurance. Okay, you go into a doctor's office, you don't talk to the doctor first. You talk to the nurse. The nurse takes your vitals. The person at the front desk is who schedules your next appointment. The doctor is just running appointments. He's the talent. You know, you ask the doctor when you can see them again, they're gonna direct you to their admin assistant because they have their calendar. The doctor's got your chart. He wants to know you, and he knows about you as far as scheduling appointments and so forth. He has someone else that does that for him.
So, John and Michael, someone put in there, how do I get a virtual assistant? I know we've talked about this a dozen times. This might be a new person, the diva. I don't know who the diva is, but can you share that real quick for the diva, how to get a virtual assistant? Because we have three different sites. You go to Fiverr. Okay. They do a great job. Michael, you have onlinejobs.ph, and you have an integrity partner and associate of ours. You have what's called Hire Heroes with Christian Brindle and what's his name? Shelton. Glenn
Glenn.
Shelton. Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about that. I'm not faulting somebody for not knowing it if you've never heard it before, but
Right.
we talk about that like every mastermind session on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, every
Yeah.
tech talk meeting on Thursdays.
Can you chat that, Michael? Those three
Yeah, it's
different
already in there.
sites. All right, good.
Yep.
Fiverr, Hire Heroes, Online Jobs. What else we have? This is a great meeting.
There's a question on what, oh God. What is the strategy for calling all clients every year if you have a large book? So it's not just what do you do, but how do you do it? John, that's to you.
Is that a new message? Because I think I just answered that.
Okay, well, there you go.
The answer to the question of how do I contact a large book of business, that was the answer to that.
Yeah. Okay. And then Jeff, you got your hand up, and Diva, you have your hand up too.
Yeah, I think Diva had hers up first, but
Go ahead.
I'm just going to ask you, man. You said somewhere in there that if you come across somebody, I think you said that is not happy with their plan at the moment, that plan is going to be changing. There is your client for AEP,
Right.
but why not now?
Well, they have to have a special election on. So,
well, of course, yeah.
So if they don't have a special election, then what you can do is what you can do right now. So in other words, I'm talking to a customer, they're not happy with their current plan. All right, well, let's uncover what opportunities there are to change plans. And if they do not have a special election, there may be some other things you can do to fix things right now. Hospital indemnity, final expense, other things that you can do. Hey, look, there's other problems. We have to come back to that. It's like if I have a roofing company and it's pouring down raining, I know you need a new roof, but I can't do it right now. Okay, let's fix what we can now, and then once it stops raining, then we'll change your roof.
All right.
Can
Thanks for
can I comment, John? That's okay.
Hmm.
Um, Almost like we do now SEP, and we've been pretty good at it. And thanks to your training on that, by the way, too. And I know I came in late, guys. I was in a meeting, but I want to share this. Almost 70% to 80% of the people we talk to have an SCP, have a special election. You just have to actually learn how to really dig deep and find out their special election, whichever one it is, whether it's FEMA, whether it's SPAP, whether it's chronic condition, whether it's whatever it is, there's always somewhere in there. There's the very few that you don't have any opportunity there. Those are the one you can leave them until AAP, but make sure you maintain their relationship with them. That's the only thing I want to share. I don't want to take over. Sorry, John.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
no. Other questions? Was there someone else?
Good stuff. You don't give John a hand. John.